Yeah, let's go. Away we go. Here we go. Welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Ron from Retro Sports Network.
And welcome, Ron. I guess this would be our home opener here on the Digital to Dice podcast as we talk about everything going on in the sports sim and replay community.
Yep, we always need a dress rehearsal before we go live, and this is it for us.
Yeah, so we're going to just talk a little bit about what this show's going to bring, who we are, and, just goals of the show. So, right off, just real quick, Digital to Dice is going to be everything from digital to dice as we talk about, your console games, your PC games, and even your cards and dice game, everything in between. Yeah, maybe a little bit beyond that as well. Probably sticking more towards the sports simulation games because that's what we're really into right now. I'm not saying that other games won't appear on this show, but that's kind of the goal of this one here. And, we'll get more into detail on how the show's going to, evolve and take effect and goals and the whole bit. But that's basically what we're going to do. But right now, let's meet the host. So, Ron, why don't you go first?
Well, my name is Ron, and I run the YouTube channel Retro Sports Network. I've been playing these type of games, can you believe it, for 30 years.
Wow.
Cut my teeth on Stratomatic cards and dice, and I do everything from the big four sports to golf and tennis and pretty much everything in between. And so glad to be doing this with you.
Yeah, no, the funny thing is Ron and I are both big hockey fans. He's a Montreal fan. I'm a Boston fan. That's going to make for some interesting discussions, I can tell, down the line. And
well, when you win in a gallon and a half of Stanley Cups, you let me know, okay?
I will. Did you ever get that VCR I sent you so you can watch some of the Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup highlights?
Yeah, kind of like the 8mm I sent you for the Bobby Orr stuff.
So anyway, so of course, my name's Dave. I'm in the Boston area. My YouTube channel is just my name, Dave Gardner. I've been running ice and roller hockey leagues here in the area for over 20 years. So on my channel, you'll probably see a lot of league events going along with some of my gaming stuff. Let me see. I did some hockey writing in the past for some minor league hockey magazines. In season, I do hockey and football play-by-play. So when you see my gaming stuff and it's me doing play-by-play, it's actually me kind of practicing and just keeping up my skills in the off-season as I really enjoy doing that, the play-by-play with that. And I've also been on the Game Hounds video podcast for the last 10 years. I'm more part-time now since they've gone to Sunday recording. Sunday's a tough day, so I'm kind of part-time in the Game Hounds, but I'm still there talking video games from time to time. So anyway, that's a little bit about us. Now, let's get back to the show here. So, the Digital to Dice, this kind of came about with a couple of conversations that Ron and myself had, where, as he mentioned, I'm kind of new to cards and dice. He's kind of old school with cards and dice. And for me, video game playing started back in 1977, Ron, when my parents bought me and my brother the Sears Telesports console system.
Oh, you played Pong.
It was Pong. It was a version of hockey. It was basically Pong with boards and a net is what it was. And it also had a little racing car game on there. And it had a couple of paddles, and that's all it was. And you screwed it into the back of your black and white TV. That's how you played this game. Okay?
I had the same thing a couple years later.
Okay. And the sound came from the console, not the TV. Okay, and I remember that we would try to play in the morning on the weekend. It was so loud we used to have to put towels over the speaker because there was no volume control. So you put towels to muffle the sound so you could sneak in some games in the morning. But from there, it went obviously to the Atari, the Intellivision, Nintendo, Sega, all the way up to the current console systems, the PS4 and the Xbox One. Somewhere along the line, though, as I get into my 50s, I stopped being the target demographic for these games, and I got a little lost. Yeah, I did, and it was so hard to admit, Ron, that I couldn't keep up playing the new games anymore. And on top of it, my sweet spot is we're almost the same age, so 70s, 80s was kind of my sports sweet spot. So I'm trying to play modern games with modern teams, not my sweet spot anymore. So I stumbled into sports sims on the PC, starting with the Football Mogul a couple of years ago. And that was kind of fun, going back. I was like, wow, I can play 70s football. This is fun. And then that led to me playing Franchise Hockey Manager, which is still my all-time most played game on Steam. Okay, enjoyed the heck I still do a heck out of Franchise Hockey Manager. Played a little bit of out of the park baseball, but I'm not a huge baseball fan, so I only played a little bit of that. And then that led into the Action PC games, which I really like because that allows me to do the play-by-play on the Action PC games because you have the chalkboard and the whole bit. So I really get into the hockey on that and a little bit of football and baseball and the whole bit. And then that led into the Cards and Dice is where we are now. So when we got talking, I was like, Ron, there's a lot to talk about here between the consoles, the PC, and the Cards and Dice. There's so much that needs to be talked about. So we actually have been reaching out to people in the community. We've talked to game developers. We've talked to content creators, people that have run some projects. There's some people that have run products I want to talk to. There's some fantastic projects going on in the community. And I think everybody we've reached out to said, yeah, they'd like to come on the show and talk about this stuff. So that's what we're kind of doing with this show, is we're going to first off, it'll be us talking about a particular game, a topic. This may include game reviews and new releases. Sometimes it's hidden gems or newly discovered games that we found. Okay, it's also about the different communities that we find because it seems like there's a lot of Facebook groups. I know we get the Delphi forums that I'm brand new to that I'm finding out. So there's a lot of things in there we can talk about. And so, anything that's going on in the community that we think is worth talking about, we'll have a talk show format, okay? We're also going to have guests on, okay? So we'll have people, again, interesting people, projects and stories, game developers, content creators, community members. It's wide open to getting people on here, talk about their games if they made a game, or talk about games if they're playing, about their projects. People that are content creators, people that are streaming games and sampling games on YouTube. We know a ton of people that are doing that, and that is really helpful, Ron. Going on YouTube, if you're trying to find a game, and again, you can find a ton of Madden videos. You can find a ton of Call of Duty videos. But if you want to play some of these quick play sports games, there's not much out there. So when you find someone doing it, that's a big deal.
And I think for a lot of people, but they might have played some of the Cards and Dice stuff when they were younger, or did a lot of the Atari Nintendo thing. I mean, Tecmo Bowl was big when I was in college 30 years ago, and maybe realized that there's still thriving communities even in that, and come on to YouTube and find, people still play Stratomatic? Yeah, they do. And so, or the quick play games or the Action PC stuff that I stream. And so, yes, there's an eclectic community of people or content creators and just kind of hardcore gamers, and people just may not realize that we're still out there.
And, I remember seeing ads for the Stratomatic, but I never did that. Like I said, I just went down the video game route, and that was the big thing for me. And, I didn't have a lot of local sports friends. I mean, my neighborhood, we played baseball outside, but nobody would sit and play a sports game with me, so I didn't have that interaction back in the day. So for me, it was all about, solo video game play or whatever it was.
Right. And even if you did back in the late 80s, early 90s, get into some of the Cards and Dice game, it was kind of, at least in our little part of the world, kind of unheard of to do it solo. What? You're going to do this stuff solo? I mean, that's just kind of socially awkward. Apparently, I've survived that.
Yeah, so you would need a friend to play that in the whole bit, and so I never went down that road. I did the video game thing, but I've come around, here and checking out some of the stuff here. So I haven't given up video games at all. I still play my PlayStation games. I still love my, my Skyrim and my Assassin's Creed Odyssey and things like that. My PC gaming, obviously, I still am heavily into the Action PC sports and my Franchise Hockey Manager. But the Cards and Dice has opened up a whole new a plethora, if you will, of video games for me to play. And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about all of that here on the show.
Absolutely.
And so it's going to be us, talk show format, us with guests, and also from time to time we're going to schedule live shows. And the live shows have a live chat. And everything's going to be done here on Spreaker. Okay, so that's Speaker with an R, Spreaker, Spreaker.com. Look for the Digital to Dice podcast. The website, Ron, for the show is digitaltodice.com, digitaltodice.com. That'll bring you to the Spreaker channel. And so that's an easy way for you to find all of our shows and where they're archived. You can listen right from the website. The Spreaker has an app. It's all free to sign up. If you sign up with them, you can chat with us and leave us comments. We also do have a voice and text line, so you can send us a text on the show or leave us a voice message that we may or may not play on the show. That is 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. That is on our website, digitaltodice.com, in the description. And also, we fired up a Facebook group, Digital to Dice Podcast, and we'll be advertising that everywhere. I'm not sure how you'd actually find that. I think you need to have so many members before you can get a good name on that or something like that. But so we do have a group on Facebook, so you can leave messages for the show as well.
And if you want to join that, just send one of us a message at the numbers that Dave mentioned, or drop a note in a live show, and we can make sure that you get invited to join it.
Yep, absolutely. I believe we can swing these podcasts over to YouTube, so it can be on one or both of our channels maybe. I got to see how that goes, but it is an audio format. And the idea behind the podcast, Ron, is, as we talked about, was audio is a lot easier to work with than video. Now, you got a great YouTube channel, and there's a lot of people in the community have great YouTube channels, but the idea behind having audio is that, if you're walking the dog, you can listen to it. If you're on the train, if you're in the car, you don't need to have the video. And I know there's a lot of YouTube that I listen to just audio as well, but you're still pushing that video bandwidth. And that chews up data. It can cause for disruption in streams. So audio is a lot easier to work with. And so far, I think it'd be easier for us to get guests on, too, because there's some guests that don't have Skype, that don't have this, that only have a phone. And so while they're driving to work or driving to wherever they're going, we could actually do the interview with them with audio.
It's about being portable and about being, semi-interactive. We certainly want your feedback as we go forward with the shows, but just being audio only, except for some of the live ones, just puts us in, access to have more of you find us. Our YouTube streams, when we do the game streams, are a audio visual experience, but for stuff like this, we just want you to listen and relax.
Yep, and that's about it. So that is an introduction here to the Digital to Dice podcast. A little bit about us, a little bit about what's going on the show, what to expect. Let's see, show 1 should be out shortly as we talk about, Ron, I think we're going to talk about the Action PC basketball game that you just picked up, the new version.
Just was released on last Friday. I forget what the exact date was, but new release for the 2019 season.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be talking about that on show 1, and then after that, we're hoping to have a guest on for show 2. We'll announce that guest shortly once we confirm. If not, we'll have another talk show format with myself and Ron. But yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in to the Digital to Dice podcast. Again, digitaltodice.com. The phone number, 978-751-DICE. And Ron, thanks for joining me here.
Oh, my pleasure, Dave. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we'll be back with episode 1 and hopefully a lot more here on the podcast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. So let me fade this out. And we'll be getting some better music. Right now, I'm just using some old stuff that I had that's not copyright infringement on anybody. At least I hope.
Don't sell yourself short, Gardner.
Some of the stuff from the 80s and 90s that we did was not too bad. So I'm Dave. He's Ron. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.
How long?